Hi, I'm Rabbi Marianne Novak, and for International Women's Talmud Day, I'm going to learn with you a very small section of Masechet Shabbat, Lamed Aleph, Amud Aleph, 31a, which begins as follows. Amar Rava, B'sha'ah shemachnisin adan ladin omrim lo. And this is the setup. Rava explains that when a person leaves this world and gets ready to go into the next world, he or she will be asked a series of questions as part of their final judgment. And the first question is actually very interesting. One might surmise that perhaps coming before Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, that the first question might be, do you believe in God? Do you, have you observed Torah? Have you observed mitzvot? And actually the first question, at least according to Rava, is as follows. Nasata v'natata be'emunah. Did you do your business dealings properly? Now that seems maybe to be a kind of an odd question. But if you think about it, it's actually a very clever and all-encompassing question. Because at least in the business arena, in ancient times, that's where people really interacted with one another. They really showed their true cards of what their character was. And in this question, the question is asking, yes, you might have learned Torah, you might have had great knowledge, you might have been learning every day, but when it came time for you to actually put that into practice, beyond just the ritual arena or reciting your Torah, did you get it? Do you know how to treat people properly? Are you able to put in all the ethical halachot, rules and laws that we have in our halakha, in our Jewish law, and within our Torah? Were you able to put it together? The business arena was really a place to show whether you could synthesize those things together as a way of showing that you got it. And so that's the first question. And understandably, the second question is, Kavata itim la Torah. Did you set aside time to learn Torah? But that's the second question. The next question is, Asakta b'piriyo reviyah. Did you make an effort to fulfill the mitzvah of being fruitful and multiply? And this could mean many different things besides just biological creation and other aspects of procreation. It could also be the idea of having students, of adopting children, of working hard, even now in modern times, to use modern reproductive technologies, but a way to understand that if our people are really going to continue, if you want to leave your mark, it's helpful to have people who will remember you and have heirs that you were able to impart your knowledge and your family history to. The next question is kind of two questions kind of wrapped up in one. Pilpata b'chachma hevanta davar mitoch davar. And here the question is, yes, you might have learned Torah, but did you really engage in Torah study? I think I want to break down what that means. Engaging in Torah study is not just simply having a vast knowledge of a lot of stuff. It's beyond content. It's taking that content which you need first and then really working at it, really engaging it, really putting it to the test, asking questions, which is certainly a traditional way of Jewish learning is asking questions. Certainly in the Gemara, we see that any statement that is made is broken down and questioned to even the finest little word, or maybe even some degree of punctuation. It's a very important way to think about your knowledge. And it's not just something that you took in by rote or something that you didn't actively engage in. And another aspect is that the Torah study that we have and that we're privileged to have is something that's really, really important. And it's really something that you own and is a treasure for you. And if you really don't engage in it or work at it, then it shows that you don't really value it. I think about this in human relationships as well. The people who we really care about, these are the people we might be arguing with every now and then, butting heads every now and then, but at the same time, it's out of love because you really care about those people. And if you really don't care about somebody, then you're not going to work at a relationship. You're not going to do anything about it. It's not going to flourish. So here's the same thing with your Torah knowledge. You really have to actively engage with it and show that you care and understand how important it is to you. And then the last part here that I'm going to read from this little section of the Gemara is very often left off when people study this piece, but I think it's extremely important. The afilu hachi yirat Hashem hi otzaro in ila la. So even if you've done all these wonderful things, you were honest in business and you learned set aside time for Torah, and that you learned everything very well, and you had children or increased the Jewish people in some way, shape, or form. If you don't have fear of God, all of this stuff, it just doesn't matter. But if you do, if you make it your treasure, otsaro, make it an otsar, a treasure, then you're going to get a very good result of your judgment, and you will go, presumably, to be at the footstool of God, and you will go on to our idea of what heaven is, to olam haba, to the next world. And what this very important little piece at the end that I'd like to end with is that all these things seem nice to do. Learning Torah, being good in business, having children, really engaging in your learning, but it cannot just be for that sake alone. And that's another important concept within our tradition, is that if you do not have fear of God and understand that this is an obligation that you have decided to take upon yourself, and understand where you sit in that obligation, meaning you've taken on the obligation and understanding that it's not all about you. It's not only about your personal aggrandizement. It's not only about making you feel good or feel that you were doing the right thing. You're doing it because God commanded you to do it. And without that element, it really diminishes all these wonderful achievements. They're still going to stand very nicely on their own, but they really need to be grounded in something that's beyond just human endeavor. And I think now more than ever, it's very easy to get wrapped up in oneself, and understandably so, but to understand that we are not nihilistic. We see beyond ourselves. We see something greater in what we can achieve with God's help, and that God will always be there if we take notice and prick up our ears and pay attention to come and redeem us, or at least give us the skills and the tools that we can redeem ourselves. I hope everyone is well. I hope next time we will be able to learn truly in person, to show that we understand the meaning of Torah and the way that we behave, and to further show our loyalty to the Kodesh Baruch Hu.